Ever since the Samsung Galaxy Nexus got its Jelly Bean update, it's practically turned into a new phone. It's coveted by pretty much everyone into tech and their Android. That said, it's still got the same buttonless fascia, the same dual-core processor and the same 5-megapixel camera. So how much of a difference does Jelly Bean make? If we were to re-review it, what would we say? Well, that's what this video is for. So to kick things off, we'll run through some specs just to remind you of things about the Galaxy Nexus. You've got a 4.65-inch Super AMOLED display. Now this is an HD resolution, so everything's quite nice and sharp, despite the fact that it is pen-tile. What you can also expect to see on the Samsung Galaxy Nexus is this very, very nice buttonless fascia. Extremely cohesive with Jelly Bean and Ice Cream Sandwich. You just have the on-screen buttons. So applications like movies and pictures will actually remove those buttons completely, filling up the screen with image, which is great. On top of that, you've got the same design. It's kind of a pretty nice nuanced wedge shape, curved screen, and it gets thicker at one corner of the bottom than it does at the top. Turning it around, you've got a textured backing, and you've also got the 5-megapixel camera with the flash. So that's what we already know. Now, when it comes to Jelly Bean, this adds some pretty cool features. We've covered these in videos before, but just when it comes to day-to-day usage, swipe up and you can jump to Google now. This is Google's voice-activated personal assistant, so you can ask it a question and it'll answer, and it does that really well. What you also have are these cards, which you can swipe out of the way, and they give you bits of information about where you are. Switch on our GPS, and it will tell us some stuff about our area. On top of that, you've got an improved notifications panel. So if we were to take a screenshot and pull down our notifications panel, we can see a nice big preview in there, which we can with 2 fingers swipe up and down. If we jump into our apps drawer, we can pull up a widget. We can grab books, for example, and we can actually reorient things that are already on the screen around the widgets and shortcuts that we want to place. So this is another really nice new feature. It just makes a home screen work around you that little bit more. If we jump out of that, and we can actually see throughout the entire user interface there's a greater degree of clarity and smoothness. Now this is Project Butter in play. Project Butter is an initiative by Google that makes sure everything on the Jelly Bean Android devices runs at 60 frames per second. Now this is where the real key difference lies, just because it makes this dual-core device look smoother than a lot of quad-core handsets out there, including the Samsung Galaxy S3, which is pretty mind-blowing when you think about it, based on pure software optimization. The camera is still not the best snapper out there. While it gives you plenty of detail with its 5-megapixel sensor, as soon as you start to drop the lights, things get very, very noisy very quickly. It does, however, focus very well and packs a great macro mode, although the stock Android camera user interface isn't quite up there with Samsung's, for example, or indeed HTC's. It does incorporate touch to focus, which is wonderful to see, and on top of that, in video you can also take pictures while shooting full HD content. As far as the user interface goes with stock Android, we find it extremely user-friendly and simple, though some people out there might prefer skins chosen by manufacturers such as HTC Sense. We definitely recommend you going into a store and checking out which one suits you best. Performance-wise, and as we've said, we really can't see any slowdown. We've been living with the Samsung Galaxy Nexus for a while now with Jelly Bean, and while we were concerned Project Butter might show signs of cracking, as you can see, it's just super smooth. So all in all, it really does feel like a new handset. Given this is a re-review, we definitely rate the Galaxy Nexus as one of the top choices out there right now, even if it wasn't 4 weeks ago. Thanks for watching Recombu. If you have any questions about the Samsung Galaxy Nexus or any handset that we might have or have access to, just fire us a question or a comment below.